When life beats you down and the world around you is designed to shatter your hope, how do you continue to press forward? This is a question that I've been asking myself over the past couple months because life's been beating me down. And I'm sure a lot of you have also had those times of your life, or maybe you're going through it right now, where it seems like there's not much of a reason to press on. You take a look at the whole world around us right now, and you look at all of these systems that are designed to completely break down the fundamentals of who you are as a person, to where rather than being a person that is full of resolve, you become somebody who is dependent on what is being drip fed to you. Let's take it down. Let's go through all the basics, right? You've got a political system where it doesn't matter what side you actually vote for. The people who benefit the most are the people at the top, the people with the most power. It doesn't necessarily correlate to wealth, but wealth definitely factors into that. And you notice how I specifically did not say left or right either, because political faction has no play in who's actually pulling the strings. And it's fascinating that, especially in America, and this could be a thing globally too, but I know America is projected to the rest of the world as like the leaders of what's going on in the first world, is that for the past 30 years or so, we have not actually had a generation that's been full of hope when it comes to electing our leaders. Rather than going to the polls of who is going to best serve us as the American people, we are consistently voting for the lesser of two evils of who is going to screw us over less. And while it would be good to have legitimate discourse about how we can make life and society and the systems better for the American people, we instead have an intellectually dishonest arena of people who are consistently trying to get sound bites and dunks and achieve moral purity for their side in a way that's completely performative and counterintuitive to actually helping the American people. And there will be some of my detractors who will watch this and they'll be like, oh, you're just saying the most milquetoast things imaginable because you're secretly for this side, or you're secretly for this, that, or whatever. And you are the retards that I'm talking about. Rather than trying to win back trust in people to trust the government with institutions, the governments instead try to stifle the truth, and they try to gaslight the people into being conspiracy theorists for wanting to inquire as to what the hell they're actually doing. And again, this is irrespective of whatever political side you tend to lean towards. And I think the damage that has been done by the previous, I want to say at least 5 or 6 administrations, has been so severe to where I don't think that in my lifetime we will ever have trust in our government ever again, simply put. And you want to talk about an issue that impacts everybody equally? Let's talk about the housing market right now. Now, my personal background, I did not come from wealth. In fact, I came from being just above the poverty line. We found it very hard to pay the bills. We found it very hard to eat. And I did not have a well-off childhood. And the biggest privilege I did have was just having 2 parents that actually gave a shit about my life enough to be involved. Where, yes, it was very difficult to live without money. Yes, it was very difficult to wonder if we had enough to pay the bills or having to go without electricity for a little bit. But I was still able to work my way up. I was still able to take advantage of the resources that I had available to me via like the public school systems. I still was able to do well and get a career in cybersecurity, and now I'm doing pretty well for myself. And this is not a way of being arrogant. This is not a way of bragging or flexing or whatever. When I say that I make a decent bit above what the median American household income is, I'm saying this because I still can't afford a fucking house. I've been on the house hunt for about a month or 2 now, and there is nothing that is in my price range that is considered affordable, where it's crazy that I wanted to make a name for myself. I wanted to get a stable career to where I could, live in a nice house in a nice neighborhood and not have to worry about the basic fundamentals of living. And I can't even afford a house in the hood. People are talking about making it out of the hood. I can't even make it to the hood because even these hood houses are like 300 grand. And if I don't have roommates that can help reduce that mortgage with the property taxes and the insurance, and living in Florida where insurance is a nightmare, I'm cooked. And with that being a large sense of independence, I know that there will be people that will try to gaslight you and say that, oh, you're missing out if you don't own a home, or there will be older generations that had a completely different market try to gaslight you into saying that, oh, it's easy, or you're just not working hard enough. The truth of the matter is that the rules of the game have completely changed, in large part due to the exponential development of technology, which is another big issue that I'm very scared about, because we have now artificial intelligence that is more intelligent than we are. We have systems that have all of the information of the world at their fingertips that we can call upon at any time. And we don't have any regulation for these systems either, which gives the green light to corrupt politicians, to people with malicious intent to inject their own views into these systems, which I think can be used for the good of the people when it comes to like medical breakthroughs and being able to better optimize our quality of life. But this gives them the go-ahead to inject it with their own corrupt political agenda, and I think it can be weaponized against the people. And I really don't think that people are taking this as seriously. Now, being Gen Z myself, I'm a little pissed off that this is going to get dumped onto my generation to fix, and Generation Alpha to fix. And then don't even get me started on the dating scene, right? Because I know it's a little bit different for everybody, but we have an ongoing loneliness epidemic that affects both sexes, right? This isn't a men versus women issue, or like, I'm not even in that dating pool, right? I've got my own shit to deal with another certain type of community, but it is more difficult than ever to find and establish a quality connection because of the disappearance of third spaces. People don't have social skills anymore, and our connections are very shallow, largely as a part to like hookup culture, but also when it comes to like dating apps. With making accessibility to people easier than ever, we now have a culture that values like situationships and hookups more so than building a solid foundation. You get a lot of people that get hurt by this. You get a lot of people who don't know how to actually be a good partner, and you create a chain reaction of hurt people that continue to hurt people and get radicalized into the whole culture war of men versus women, or all men are trash, or all women are for the streets. And it looks like my device overheated, but as I was saying, we have a massive chain reaction of hurt people injecting toxic narratives and manipulating people into these weird, distorted views of other people, rather than just treating every individual as such an individual. And because of this, we have a loneliness epidemic of which everybody wants to blame everybody else except themselves for contributing to, when it really is a group effort in that manner. Now, a lot of what I've just painted for you is a very bleak, very dystopian view of the world in the big 2025. And a lot of people would wonder, is it even worth it to continue going on? I know there's certainly been a lot of times in my life where I've asked myself the same thing, but despite all of this, there is still this small flame inside of my soul. There's still this small voice that tells me that it's all worth it. Because as humans, as living beings, we have fantastic opportunities that we are able to take advantage of. The first of which is that we are able to learn. Yes, there are forces out there that will try to melt your mind, that will try and get you to not question everything, that'll try and tell you what to think to prevent you from doing your own thinking. But just the fact that we have so much information about the world and the galaxy around us is fantastic. And I think, at least for me, in the direction of this channel and everything, that's why I have such a hard time uploading consistently and like picking a niche or whatever, is that my interests are just so wide and so vast. It's very counterintuitive for growth on YouTube, but whatever. I guess that's just how it is, being somebody who loves life and loves a lot of the things that I can learn about in life. And then we have the ability to love. And when I say love, I don't necessarily mean like, intimate romantic relationship, but we have the ability to be of service for other people. We have the ability to help other people. We have the ability to foster connections with other people, even if they're just platonic, right? And we also have the ability to experience. As humans, we can feel a very wide array of large dynamic emotions. Some of those are very uncomfortable, like depression, like numbness, like anger. But even just being able to experience those separates us from a lot of the other more simple life forms that are on this planet with us, like insects and a lot of like smaller mammals. And I think all of those facets are innately special. So yes, there are forces that are out there that are corrupt. There are powers that do want to stifle us, that want to drain us, that want us to have our hope shattered. But we can still learn, we can still love, and we can still experience. And I think those things make life so much more enjoyable. Now, I'm not just saying this to like talk out my ass. I'm not trying to say this to get views. I'm not trying to do this, that, or whatever, because why would I be vulnerable with you about these really deep things that affect me in life on a gaming channel of everything? It seems counterintuitive to try and get anything from this video, and even if it only reaches like 10 people, I think there is still a lot of hope left to be had, and I think that there still are a lot of wonderful things to extrapolate from this earth. There's that fear that I have, even though I feel like my life is just now beginning at 23, that I will die before I get to serve my life's mission. And even though I don't quite know what my purpose is, I feel like at least making this video is a step in the right direction. But that'll do it. My friends, if you've watched to this point of the video, I thank you. I encourage you to have hope. Until next time, when I make some sort of stupid video about gaming or whatever, this is Moon, and I'm signing out.